Is up, boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, day traders, cloud swing traders? Hope you guys are doing absolutely fantastic. Hope you guys have been enjoying the bullish run we've had so far. I'll tell you what I enjoy. I absolutely enjoy hanging out with each and every one of you every single day. We got the squadron in the house. Good morning to Albert, Andy, Bill, Christopher. Good morning, Jay, Joe, Kevin, Stone, Lauren, Ron. We got Ryan in the house. Good morning to Sebastian. Wendy is going to rock with us. Good morning to everybody out there in YouTube land. We got Put Spread. Good morning, Rado. Good morning as well to you. To all the lurkers out there, just sitting in the background of YouTube land. We got Gene. Good morning to you. Daniel, good morning. Make sure you guys hit that like, subscribe button. Keep in mind, we do this. I'm just going to say pretty much, but nah, we actually just do this from 9 to 6 p.m. Eastern every single day. So, when I disconnect at 9:30, if you do feel left behind, don't worry. You can just go to reallifetrading.com. We got the all access pass. You guys are more than welcome to hang out with us, trade with us, take some of the classes with us. And speaking of classes, we do got free education, mentor groups, Tesla Titans. We got bot groups. We got everything pretty much involving the stock market. So make sure you guys check that out. But let's start with the SPY. We did have PPI numbers come out. They came out a little bit to the hot side. A lot of that, which we were saying, probably most of that was crude oil taken into effect with that, which we've seen kind of just rally a little bit. The war doesn't help, but over the last day or two, today it's coming down a little bit. Yesterday we actually got a little pullback on crude as well. So I think the markets, I think the algos, I think the traders are kind of taking that as all right, maybe it's a one-off type thing, and everything else in the report was okay, but mainly the headline number came in a little bit to the hot side. So if we do pull up the 3-minute chart, we'll pull up pre-market. You did see that we had a little bit of a dip on those numbers right there at 8:30. So we dipped a little bit, not too much of an event overall, relatively speaking. The bulls are still there. They were able to bounce this thing right back. Tomorrow's going to be a bigger day, and I do expect the markets to move a lot larger off of CPI numbers. I think that's what the Fed is going to be looking at more so than the PPI. But tomorrow morning could be a little bit more wild, and we'll see how this thing wants to play out. That being said, today is, put this on your calendar, take a picture. We haven't seen this all last month. We haven't strung together 3 bullish days in the month of September in a row. And now you have the SPY going 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row bullish. And it is showing signs of a little bit of strength at open with that gap up after we did pull back. Bigger question. Where do the bulls stop? Where do the bulls give in and become a little bit weaker? So we do have a moving average. We bounced perfectly off that yesterday. Still inside day on the SPY, so I would expect a little bit of a chop. Still, I think with a little bit of a bullish edge to the day. I would like to see a pullback if we were going to try to go bullish. So 435.05. So let's sell a little bit. And then maybe from this 435.05, that could be support to the higher side. Again, we're going to have to test yesterday's high somewhere around 437.16. And we start running to VPOC Village over here where we got 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, a whole bunch of VPOCs. We got one above that as well. So 440.22 would be a pretty decent one, but I think a little bit to the weaker side if we're able to get through all of those ones first. The high end of that one, the top of this channel would be 439.40. And then, of course, I got my magic number 438.91. So we do have some room to the higher side after all this buying. And keep in mind, we do have CPI. So we might have some investors today getting something off the table, locking in a little bit of profits, and we'll see what happens overall. So kind of 50-50 right now on the overall market, and it is inside day, so expect a little bit of chop out of the gate. I would either like to look to go short closer to this 438.91 zone, or try to attempt to go long, maybe somewhere around 435.05. Let's see where we came into on a Fibonacci from this downtrend. And it's going to be questionable where I start this thing, but really the overall move, I think before we even get into the Fibonacci, let's do this one real quick. Let's draw some Elliott waves. This could be our one. 2, 3, 4, and 5. Little consolidation for our ABC. This could be starting a wave 1, which is good for the bulls. But wave 1 will come to an end. There's going to be a profit taking to some extent. There's going to be pullback, and then we probably could get that wave 3, which would be obviously a little bit larger. So if that's our wave count, I'm going to start my Elliott wave from up here. We'll throw the end of it right down there to some extent. So we'll measure this entire move, the entire wave count, as opposed to just one leg on it. Let me just see if I can get this thing on my other screen. There we go. That's a lot simpler. All right, perfect. Let's do this wave. Let's do this fib channel. So we'll start somewhere up here. It's going to be off by a couple pennies, so don't quote it as a Bible, but we bounced perfectly off the 50% retracement of that wave down. So that's going to be a very strong number. That's also taking us into that very first VPOC from yesterday. Again, the one thing I would consider is that VPOC has been retested yesterday. We've already made our way up through at least two of those VPOCs. Both of those have been retested. So if the bulls want to get going, those levels are able to be broken, but then we have more levels right there in front of us. We're definitely hitting some type of resistance. We got big numbers coming out tomorrow. We've had a lot of bullish days. Could we also get a squeeze today? Yeah, there's a lot of puts out there in the market. There's a lot of people shorting still in the wrong side of this one. Closing that gap right at that magic number. That's an important level too. So I don't know. Does that 50 break and then potentially head into the magic number, or really get going into the 618? But we got a really interesting bounce spot yesterday. Worst case scenario. Let's see if I can take this fib off. Let's take a look at the Qs. QQQ. We got Al from Denmark in YouTube land. Good morning to you. Good morning, afternoon, or night. Not sure what time it is in Denmark, but I'm just happy you're here. I'm happy you're here. All right, so Q, same little deal. Bunch of bullish days in a row. Pretty strong breakout. None of that's been really retested yet. We've closed gap number 1 over here pretty decisively. Carried through it. I do have a little bit of a downtrend that got broken. That downtrend should be now support. That one has not been bouncing back for support. We have to the higher side. This one's been hit yesterday. So again, it is able to break 371.21. I would imagine this is going to be a little bit weaker of a resistance as we move up higher, if we could get back there again. And next spot would probably take us up to, I guess, immediate next spot would be somewhere in this like 372.19 zone. And then maybe if we really get going, 373.77 to the downside. Well, I would like to see some of this get retested. We have yesterday's VPOC, so that's gonna be my first level of support, 369.28. If that one breaks, we're gonna be looking short. Probably back down to 366.15, and I do think the better level, if we get a red day today, would be 365.31. So question is, and even I'm looking at pre-market SPY. I mean, we do have double top right now, pre-market on the SPY as well, but inside candle, a little bit of a chop. Let's pull up TLT. TLT, we did have a little bit of a rally going on TLT. Markets cannot really, I think, really get any type of firm ground without TLT starting to move higher. We're finally getting it to pop and move higher. If anybody is a candle wizard, you're looking at this and going, all right, this is a retest gap. So 88.25 should be some type of resistance. Let's see if we hit 88.25 already pre-market, or if we have some room to go. Yep, we got into that 88.25. We actually hit 88.41. So we already kind of hit the resistance. This is a retest gap. I think this one fades, and if this one starts to fade, that's going to put additional pressure onto the market to the downside. So I don't think the longs are going to be, although we have a lot of room to move long, I think we're going to probably get a little bit more pressure to the downside if this thing does come back for a full-on retest. All right, we got Sebastian looking at Tesla. So let's see what Tesla's done. Tesla did hit a key little resistance from yesterday. If we draw a quick little trend line, I think we're into some type of a channel here. If you guys could tell, we've pretty much nailed the top of that channel yesterday. Support on Tesla 264.36. We're sitting at little bit of resistance already. That has also been retested. You're sitting at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days in a row bullish. If you want to ignore that one inside day, then we could go 6, 7, 8 days in a row bullish. Yeah, probably getting a little bit overextended, but you're at the top of the channel. I think good risk reward down up here would be probably shorting Tesla. Would love to see it get a little bit higher, get back into that trend line for a short. So maybe if this thing could come back into, I think good pressure on this one would be about 267.93. Inside day, a little bit of a chop. Again, you do have one support at 264.36-ish, somewhere in that zone, probably a little bit higher. But we'll call it 264.36. If that starts to break down, then you're starting to come back, retest some of those levels. I was looking at this one with I was doing a one-on-one yesterday, and I do think probably at least 259.59 would be an interesting spot, but I think this thing comes a little bit lower. Maybe look to test even like 254.66, something like that. But a little bit of a chop. So we got resistance right above us. Even if that resistance breaks, we got a little bit more coming in. I would say a really extremely good run on Tesla today would be 270.77. Would be interesting to see if we could break above and actually close above that downward channel today. That would make Tesla very, very extremely interesting. Otherwise, yeah, expect a little bit of chop. CAVA. CAVA. Ooh. Nice little double bottom. Looking for some volume candles. The biggest one that I see comes in on this day. That gives us some room at least to retest that 35.21. So we have a little bit of upside on Kava. Technically, it's also a retest gap. We should have a little bit of support right below us to 33.33. If that one breaks down, I'll be looking more for a retest of like 32.65. That would be also a retest of this candle. We're trapping some bears, not a whole heck of a lot. Wave count wise looks interesting for maybe a turnaround play. This is a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Little consolidation here. ABC. We got the break. We got some continuation. Nice gap up. Watch this one for a swing. I think this one retest today. But that being said, and we're clearly in a downtrend. That's a nice little. Oh, we can get above that wick and stay above there at open. I would love to see this one pull back, kind of come back down, even retest like 32.05 would be very, very interesting on this one. About $32 even. If you're going to go short, if you're going to try to play this fade, I would be taking partials probably $32.42, and then I'd clear the deck at $32 even. This is going to be an interesting one to see what this one actually opens at. I'm going to move this one up higher on the list. I really don't want to be the first bull in there, but we are above some kind of support, and then we have levels to 34.45. So that would be the higher side on this thing. And then lower, yeah, I'd probably look for almost a full retest, at least to 32.42, and then we come down a little bit further. A very interesting gap, though. Was there news on this one? See what the news is. Ally Financial cuts target price to 31. Okay. Extremely interesting gap. Kava. So Jeffrey Groups cuts target price to $48. So they got a downgrade, and that downgrade is to $48. So that's still a decent upside. Still a decent upside on the on that downgrade, but interesting. All right, that's going to definitely be on the watch list for sure. NVO. NVO, nice little gap up as well. Looks like this is a retest gap. I would look to play the fade if it goes a little bit higher. So watch for 96.55. I'm going to throw an alert up there. We'll see if that one if that one sets the little alarm off, but that would be a spot to short. We do have all sorts of resistance right above us. So if that one could hit that little resistance, I'd be interested at least to maybe come into this thing and go short. We are still inside this candle. We've got VPOX right above us. And then if it does break that, 98.06 would be a spot to look to go short again. Otherwise, nice gap up from here. We pulled back, dipped under. I think this one probably fades today. Maybe longer term goes up higher, but I would think that we probably come back minimum to retest 94.72. That's probably where it stops today. Otherwise, over the course of the next few days, look for like 92.92 is a better spot to go long on a swing trade. But decent gap there as well. XOM. ExxonMobil, I believe, is down today. Let's see where TradingView puts it at. Yep. Gap down today. They bought a company. So they might have bought NVO, actually. I'm not sure if that was them. But ExxonMobil, let's see which company they purchased. It was an all stock deal. PXD. Yep. So they acquired Pioneer Natural Resources in a 59.5 billion all stock transaction. So, good long term for ExxonMobil. Bad today. That would be technically a retest gap. You are a little bit of support. I don't know how decent that support is, to be honest, or resistance. So resistance is 107.68. I think that resistance might be a tough one to break today. We're now gapping below all bunch of daily averages. That daily average alone is going to provide us with a little bit of resistance. Plus, you got VPOX up here. So although this is a retest gap, this is a pretty horrific. I think we get a quick pop and then probably look to short XOM. I don't think this one does a full on retest, and we'll see. But let's see what else I'm missing. WW Weight Watchers International. Whoa, I like that candle from yesterday. Absolutely fantastic candle from yesterday. See if this one retests a little bit. There's not a lot of room, at least on a longer term basis, up until, there's not a lot of room. There's plenty of room up to $16 and roughly about 31 cents. All types of room on this thing. My biggest hesitation going bullish is this is the third day in a row that we've absolutely just torn up the charts. Anybody in that 10K going to 1 million, that would have been your 10% right there. Easily. And I think it still has the ability, for another $1.30 here. So this would be one to throw on the list to watch. I would need almost to throw some kind of fib at a pivot. But that is a retest gap. And in a longer term picture, if we're going to try to play this one, probably look for the immediate spot would be about $11.96. If we get some kind of a pullback, I'd much rather almost take it about a 50% retrace on that one. That's a really good breakout candle from yesterday. So if that one comes in, I can't chase it up here to go bullish. See if this one pulls back, and if we could get a decent pullback on this thing, really, even probably like $12, something in that range, would be a much better opportunity for us to attempt to go long. But this one for day trade purpose, if this one throws in any type of red candle, well, give me a little bit of sell off. Somebody might want to take profits on a gap up after 3 strong bullish days. I know I would. I would be excited to just be like, cool. CPI comes out tomorrow. I don't know if I mentioned that. Why not take some profits today? I don't know. All right, let's see what else we got. We got Rivian for Craig. I was going to say, where's the pre-market on this one? Finally pops up. It's trying. I think we're getting a little bit overextended on this bullish pop. Obviously, everything about this drop is massive bearish. Let's do the same thing here, draw a fib, but we're probably getting kind of close to that 50% retracement on this thing. Which would throw us into the range of, we're still pretty far from the 50%. So next stop, I think $20.40, take us to that 38% retracement. If we're looking candle specific of where we started getting the drop, that would take us into here. So it depends on how, again, what you want to retest. But if we're looking just for that candle drop, we're looking for that bounce perfectly at $19.98. That's probably going to be a little resistance for it. Longer term picture, what I probably would think is I think we can get up to that original 50% retracement at some point. But you do have 1, 2, 3 days in a row. Let's see if we could pull back a little bit. Rivian would be very, very interesting, somewhere above $18.70. So let's call it like $18.90, but somewhere down in this zone. So I think maybe this initial drop, sentiment changed. Any bulls in this thing got absolutely trapped. Didn't really give you much breathing room to get out. And I think that 618 is a perfect little bounce for some people to take profits. We roll back down, and then if we're going to hit that longer term 50%, I think we'd have to do something like that. So we do have one level up here from yesterday's VPOC that could give us a little bit of support today. But I'd be very cautious going bullish today on this thing. 1976 would be, and it is inside day, so you're going to get some chop. I would probably safely assume 1976 hits today. Question is, does it hold? If not, I think that's going to take us back down to about $19.09. I don't know about today, breaking yesterday's candle, but over the next couple days, I think I'm even going to throw some alerts down here as well. I'm going to fill my chart with alerts, see what happens. So create. Okay. So we're going to see if that goes off sometime in the near future. To the bullish side, you're going to face that resistance. $20 also nice psychological hold number 2. Could be a little tough. Lily, LLY. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I feel like Outcast. My baby don't mess around. Really good gap up after 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 days of just nothing but buying on this thing. Definitely some bullish sentiment, but we are gapping right into this resistance. I think this is a fade if I've ever seen one. You got really good resistance, strong resistance at 598.24. I don't even think it has to get there to be short. This would be a terrific one. Get a green candle and look to go opposite. We could add this one real quick. Somehow Lily has not been on my my normal watch list, which is strange because I look at a decent amount. But yeah, good gap up. There's definitely going to be some people wanting to take profits. I would only imagine. Would be shocked if that starts to break. If that starts to break and we get closes above it, all right, start planning your long entries. So not taking the breakout, but seeing if you now get some pullbacks, and that would give us some definitely some bigger, longer term sentiment on that one. AI, lots of gaps today, actually. AI. Double bottom, good breakout. It's already run a lot. This is also a retest gap into resistance. Resistance should be residing somewhere around 27.35, and we're about 15 cents away from that. That should be very, very, very good resistance. I wouldn't mind if this thing, be patient on this market, but see if this thing comes back to 25.59, then we could at least say, well, we got a double bottom. Let's throw some stops down there, catch some of this retest, and then if it's going to go, let's go. Pretty interesting spot. That double bottom came in, but not so much. The 618 broke down decisively. We already retested that one. We've sold off much more since then. We've already used the 618 once as some type of resistance, but that's going to be a little bit of longer term resistance. That's going to come in somewhere around $29.07. But it is a small gap up. It is a retest gap. So again, probably see if you do want to take this thing bullish, and I'd be patient again. But if you get a red candle on this one, maybe taking a break of that. But I think the entire way up, there will be probably some decent resistance for the bulls. Let's see what else I'm missing. Boeing. I don't think I covered Boeing, right? Boeing, yep. I was talking about this in the one-on-one as well last night. I think this is a 1, 2, 3. I think this is just a wave 4 coming in. So the question is, how big is wave 4? Massive downtrend. I don't know. We do have the fibs that I drew on this thing. So 50% retracement takes us up into 206.97. If some miracle happens, we could get to 212. That would be a 618. So there's going to be different levels along the way that we will hit resistance. And I think we get one more push, whether that's double bottom or one new lower low. That I'm not sure of. But I think we do have to sell off at least one more time deeply for really Boeing to start being considered, at least for a swing trade basis. For day trade, again, it is a little bit of a gap up. And I think be patient on the open. It was a nice breakout yesterday. Good gap up, retest gap. That already retested perfectly. We stopped pretty much at the 23% retracement. And now we're gapping up. Look for yesterday's VPOC, I think, for some kind of support. So 193.89. If we come down there, I would be interested in potentially looking to set up some kind of a trade. Although we do have 1, 2, 3 pretty bullish days in a row. None of that really got retested. So but I would stick with this short-term trend for right now. I think we do have some decent room. Targets, I don't know if we could hit this today, maybe, but I wouldn't even be looking for that 201. I'd be looking for on a stretch goal, probably about $200.15. So right around that psychological $200 number. That's where I would put the target for today in a bullish direction, but we'll see. What else am I missing? Walmart. What do I got? 3 minutes. Perfect. Still inside of this candle. From October 6th. That's the higher volume, at least in short-term memory. Otherwise, we got to go back to September 15th. That's been retested. I think that's a 1, maybe 2. This entire move is probably 3. I think we're in a wave 4 here as well. Resistance on this one on Walmart, 159.58. Again, retest gap, and we're still inside this. So I think this is going to be choppy. If this thing pushes a little bit higher, shorting around 159.48 would make sense. Otherwise, we're just about smack in the middle from support and resistance. 157.50 would be resistance on this one. So again, if you do want to play this hammer and you're like, okay, whatever, it's an R. I'm going to throw a stop at 151.52. That'd be below this candle. You're essentially getting in prior to the breakout. If you do like Walmart to the longer term, beautiful bounce off that 200. So that looks good. But this is 2 days in a row, gap up, and I think this fades. I think we can get it. I think we're going to get a lot of retests at open. We'll see what happens, but I do think there's a lot of potential retests. So be patient. I do think bullish is the direction. Also, PPI has shown us that, not really great news coming in with hot PPI. And then we start to tank on that news. But the bulls did buy it. So I think we're still buying the dips. Watch out for the very end of the day today. That's probably where people might want to adjust their positions, get ready for CPI tomorrow, 8:30 a.m. Eastern. And if we're going to get any type of selling, it's going to come probably, I think, toward the end of the day. Bulls will be pretty decently strong, I think, today for the most part. But at open, probably first 15 minutes, wait for some sell-off, wait for some pretty severe pullbacks. And then I think join the buy the dippers would be the play. But unfortunately, the bell is just about to ring. You guys on YouTube land, you guys have been absolutely incredible. Unfortunately, again, this is the part I got to disconnect. It's not happy times for me either. Trust me, I get very sad about it. But you guys are absolutely incredible, and I'll catch all of you guys tomorrow. Be safe.